Giving you story after story, everything is true. Some things are kinda scary, so what you gonna do? Cause that's another tale from the Sipp. That's another tale from the Sipp. Sometimes we spit scripture, line upon line, not discussing wickedness, but what is divine. And
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Tales from the Sipp. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Tales from the Sipp, episode 75. My testimony, the grand finale. Yes, sir. Episode part 10 of my testimony. This the end of it. You know what I'm saying? As much as I need to talk about, that is. But anyway, now, the last episode, I was telling you how I kept on trying to tell these people about these holidays, about eating this pork, about, unclean, all the unclean foods. All this stuff, man, kept fighting against me. This is the straw that broke the camel's back. Cause see, at this time, it was around 2010, 2011. So I started saying, hey man, I got to go full throttle. I got to start keeping these commandments like I supposed to. You know what I'm saying? I got to quit, you know what I'm saying? Forget what the people in this church do, whatever. So that's why I stood on it. And when I stood on it, and it was probably around 2011, 2012, I said, man, ain't nobody come over here with this. They're cooking this, that's when I actually stopped keeping holidays. You know what I'm saying? That was the last part of it. I stopped keeping holidays, you know what I'm saying? And I started, keeping the Sabbath. You know what I'm saying? Which I already talked about in church anyway. I kept asking, man, why are we worshiping on Sunday? I even did a presentation about it, trying to tell them that this was the Catholic Church did this. We supposed to worship on the seventh day. They even talked about one of the Catholic bishops. So now, after all this fighting, all this rigmarole and foolishness and all that, my last time being at the church, at the Christian church, I said, man, I said I'm about through with it. They just pushing me out. It was always something, man. It was always something. I'm always butting heads with the other preachers and all this and that. So I was asked to preach a preaching this revival. So I went to that revival and I let them have it. I brought out everything I could about us being the people of that book. Then, and we got to eat clean, how we got to keep the Sabbath, this and that and that. I brought out everything. I was unloading 2 full clips on them. After that, that was the last time I went to that church. I ain't go no more after that. But then, see, after that, I had a moment of solitude where I was alone. And at that point, when I was alone, I didn't have nobody to talk to most of the time. Sometimes, and at the time I was staying by myself too. You know what I'm saying? Staying in this apartment by myself in Pearl. And, 2012, man, I was living by myself, man. And I'm gonna be honest, I got kind of lonely at the time. You know what I'm saying? Wasn't with no woman at the time, because me and her, when I separate ways, and So then, only thing I did was work, go home, read my scripture, and you know, kind of at the time, I kind of felt being being in a point of loneliness because I wasn't around nobody. I wasn't even around my family. Most of the time, I get out work, I went straight to the house. A lot of times, I'm just sitting at the house, find myself getting up in the middle of the night, going up to my mom and dad's house. Then, you know what I'm saying? I my mama said, yeah, like you scared to stay at the house by yourself. After that, I didn't do it no more. I started staying at the house. So I don't want them to think I'm scary or something, you know what I'm saying? It just I used to go up there and talk to my cousin them and all that and just be sitting around. I got bored, man. I was just around, solitude helped you though, man. When the most high dealing with you, he gonna pull you away from around everybody so he can deal with you, man. You don't need to be around people all the time. Do you remember the story of Paul when Paul, after the Messiah met him on the Damascus road, Paul went blind, you know what I'm saying? The scales went over his eyes. And then he had to go and talk to some more elders and they, prayed for him and everything. Scales fell off his eyes. He was able to see. But right after that, what did he have to do? For 3 years, you hear nothing from Paul, did it? Because Most High was just dealing with him. He was equipping him. Same way you look at the Messiah. You look at from 12 years old to around 29, 30. You don't hear no story about him. The Most High was equipping him at that time. Are you equipped? Let me ask you that. Maybe I need to do a teaching on this. See, you have to wait on calling. You have to wait on your ministry. You don't just learn. The Most High just start dealing with you, and then you just run out, start running your mouth. But that's where you can fall into the condemnation of the devil because you teaching things that shouldn't be taught. You teaching false doctrines and all this and that. That's a problem with our people right now. I hate to bring that up, but yeah, that's what's wrong right now. Some people need to sit down and shut up. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, we get back to the point. So for a couple of years, I didn't say nothing. I wasn't around. I'm gonna say let's forward from 2012 all the way to 2015. Now I would get around other people. I get around other people and I talk about the scripture and you know, the nuances and everything and all that. At that time, I was in seminary because I graduated seminary in 2013 with a master's degree. Then when I left there, I went to Jackson State University and started working on the history in a history program. I actually only got uh one class, well, two courses I have to take and write a master's thesis. I have a master's in history. I already got a master's in you know, uh in biblical history and all this and that, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, I chase some rabbits, not trying to make you, try to appear like I know so much, but I'm just telling you what it is. You know what I'm saying? So now, then afterwards, I this is how I end up. I never stopped loving music because I used to, you know what I'm saying? I started doing music, man. It was in the 90s. First, I just write stuff. I was just doing poetry. And then I started, and I started hearing, rap music and stuff. And I'm like, hey, so I put the music to it. Boom. Fast forward. in the late 90s, I end up record some stuff with my people. You know what I'm saying? It was some garbage. Man, we were talking about, you know, ghetto shit. Man, excuse me. We were talking, but anyway, but I always had the Most High on my mind. And, that's why in 2019, I started, that's when I kept writing what I really believed in. Well, before that, probably 2017, but 2019, I started looking for somebody to record with. Man, 2020, I laid my first track to my first album, which was released in 2021, The Remnant, Volume 1. And after that, I just kept going. But the thing is, after that, I was on the straight and narrow ever since 2003. But after that, when 2012 hit, I stepped my game up, man. I ain't all that because I used to have it. I used to do most of what I was supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? But I still was eating shrimp, which I know was unclean. But I still was eating shrimp. I had a problem with that. I really never had a problem stopping eating pork because I didn't really care about pork. But I used to like that, like ham, man, for some reason. So around 2014, 2013, stopped all that stuff. Let's go back. 2019, I started doing the music again. Started recording, started doing all that. And ever since then, I've been full speed ahead. But, you know what I'm saying? I had my discrepancies, had my little situations, but the Most High always guided me back to the ancient path. Now, one period of time, I say that on another story. I'm gonna have to do that in another story. He ain't gonna be part of this. This was what it is. My testimony, telling you how I came from darkness into his marvelous light. Yes, sir. But that's Tales from the Sipp, episode 75. Be on the lookout for episode 76. This is the end of the grand finale of my testimony. Yes, sir. Part 10. Until next time. Peace out. Yes.
That's another tale from the Sipp. That's another tale from the Sipp. Sometimes your boy may go way back in the day, talk about experiences and the games that he played. And that's another tale from the Sipp. That's another tale from the Sipp. Hey.